Today I'm going to try and answer a question no one has actually asked me yet, but I was curious, so I bring to you another Ron Wanders Off trip report. This time we're heading to the Docklands to see how you can get from central London to London City Airport. Have I flown from this airport before? Absolutely not. But from a child I was fascinated at how in an area where there is not really an abundance of space and towering buildings everywhere, you can land planes without falling into the docks. So join me on this short trip from King's Cross over to Docklands, where I'll be taking two trains today, the Southeastern Javelin and the Docklands Light Railway, to see what the journey versus, say, just taking a taxi is like. This video is part of a mini-series where I give you the best tips on how to get to airports in and around London. I've shown you some trips already, from getting from London to Heathrow Airport and also from London to Luton Airport. So if you've not watched these yet, links will be in the description below. If you like this type of format, please let me know by leaving a comment or considering subscribing to see trip reports just like this. So here is the objective. If you've been dumped in London with a suitcase, not too big mind you, since we're flying out of London City and there aren't exactly any 747s or Airbus A350s flying out of there, and you need to get from, say, King's Cross to City Airport, how can you actually get there? When I looked into this, I was thinking to just take the Northern Line tube from King's Cross St Pancras to Bank and then get in the DLR from there, but that just sounded A bit long, and B a bit crowded. So I decided on another option. Watch along as we head out east and through Docklands and onwards to London City Airport. If you want to choose here as a spot to grab a snack, get a toilet break, or use it as an interchange if you're coming up north with East Midlands Railway or down south with Thameslink, St Pancras is well connected. St Pancras International also has a nice selection of shops, which is great for gifts, or if you need to get anything before an important business meeting, you're pretty much covered. We're heading up the escalator now to what I call the Southeastern Terminal, as this is where the Southeastern Javelin trains depart from. And if you want to see a little bit more of an in-depth review on the Southeastern Javelin trains, then look back to my very first Ron Wanders Off video. I'll leave that link in the description also. Southeastern is a high-speed service connecting Kent with central London, where trains can hit 140 miles an hour along the route. Southeastern's high-speed service launched on the 29th of June 2009. To this date, it is still UK's only high-speed rail line. We have HS2 in the works, but that's some way off from now. Great thing is that if you don't want to head down to Kent Coast, but you want a little taste of the Javelin, then between London St Pancras International and Stratford International, you can actually use your Oyster pay-as-you-go and contactless card. But please note, London travel cards are not accepted on high-speed train services. Not sure why. Maybe someone in the comments can shed some light on that. On board, you have space for luggage, but bear in mind on this part of the journey, you're on board for no less than about 10 minutes, so make sure your belongings are accessible. We get off at Stratford International, home of Westfield Shopping Centre and the Olympic Park. Not going to be here for too long though, as we are connecting here to take the second leg of our trip, the Docklands Light Railway, or the DLR as we mostly know it for. We go through the Stratford International exit this time to connect with the DLR. It will be a lot quieter versus the other part of the station since there are plenty more connections on that side, and also you got the shopping centre which is literally right outside the station. crossing the road now, and we arrive at a newer station on a DLR map. Well, newish. Stratford International opened on the 31st of August 2011. The name of the station gets people a bit confused though, as technically you cannot catch an international train from Stratford. The station naming allows it to be separate from the mainline Stratford station, which is just a short walk away. Stratford International DLR only run Docklands Light Railway trains with a frequency of 6 per hour and only takes 17 minutes to get to London City Airport. Right then, so a bit of history about the Docklands Light Railway. It's kind of crazy to think the Docklands Light Railway will be 35 years old this year. It has been extended numerous times to support the ever-growing infrastructure in the Docklands and East London area, and the whole thing is automated, as in, there are no drivers. Yeah, you can get the odd staff member to handle door controls and onboard announcements, but DLR is one of the very few trains that I know of where you can just sit right at the front and act like you're the driver. The total DLR route length is around 24 miles, where lines reach north to Stratford, south to Lewisham, west to Tower Gateway, and Bank in the City of London's financial district, and then east over to Beckton, London City Airport, and Woolwich Arsenal. All 45 trains have step-free access from street to train. The DLR is operated by 149 high-floor bidirectional electric multiple units, or EMUs for short. Top speed is get this, a speedy 40 miles an hour, or 64 kilometers per hour. New rolling stock will be appearing next year in 2023, which will increase capacity by about 10%, which combined with service improvements should see a 65% increase from the Stratford to Lewisham lines over in Southeast London. The trains will also feature charging points and air conditioning, so a lot of interesting developments to come. Having seats laid out with passengers facing each other allows for space to place your luggage in front of you, or you could opt to stand near the doors. It's not that long of a journey. Legroom is fairly decent for public transport. Our first main interchange on this route, and we were at West Ham. The station is served by London Underground District, Hammersmith and City, and Jubilee lines. It also serves C2C national rail services and has been serving passengers from as far back as 1901. After passing a few stopping stations along this route, we are now arriving at Canning Town. Canning Town Station actually started its life out as Barking Road back in 1847, but this was renamed in 1873 to Canning Town. It saw an estimated 10.7 million passengers which passed through the DLR, so definitely one of the busiest stations on the London Underground. My suggestion though would be to plan your route and try not to pass through here at peak times, as I can imagine it can be quite busy due to the connection with the Jubilee line as well. I think one of the reasons I loved DLR when I was a kid was the views you get as you're heading towards Canary Wharf. There are views of super tall buildings, riverside apartments, and just a general switch up from the row of houses which I was used to growing up in South London. The windows are enormous compared with mainline trains, so you have a nice clear view of the outside, and because you're not exactly speeding anywhere, you can just relax and watch the world go by. You can see from the scenery that a lot of this area is still undeveloped, and that is rare for London these days. The Docklands was the gateway for goods coming into London back in the day. There are countless warehouses and abandoned buildings which you will see along this route. In the background you can just make out the Millennium Dome, or what we normally call it these days, the O2 Arena, which sits on the Greenwich Peninsula. Just above you can see the Emirates airline, which is a cable car, which connects the Royal Docks to the Greenwich Peninsula. We're not too far from the airport now, so it's probably a good time to summarise this trip. Single fare, peak times, is £3.40 on contactless or Oyster, or just £2.80 off Peak. If you're fortunate enough to have a DLR train waiting for you at Stratford International on the platform, like I did, then you can do this trip in just 34 minutes, which is about 10 minutes faster than going on the tube towards Bank and changing there for the DLR. Having never been to this airport before, I wasn't sure what the approach was going to be like. Was I going to get a chance to see the runway with some planes? Not really. A car park is all you're getting, and the back of some industrial buildings. That nice iconic view, which we all know of London City Airport, where you got the planes and then you got the docks and everything, you don't see it from this side, I'm afraid. In summary, I prefer this route though, if I was heading out of London City Airport. I don't know about you, my audience, but when I'm heading to the airport, I always like to go with a quieter option, even if it means it takes a little bit longer, which in this case it didn't. Taxi is always an option, but with the cost being considerably more and the possible traffic jams you may encounter, mate, I can't deal with that anxiety. We exit left and head to the escalators. As you can see, it's not a busy airport considering transport links here are literally just a bus to North Greenwich and a DLR. The walk from the station to the terminal is probably 3 minutes, if that, as you walk outside and there it is. Wanted to have a snoop around the airport terminal, because I've never been here before, but due to the COVID restrictions at that time, terminal was only for passengers. Well, I hope you found this video informative. Next time I'm in this area, I hope to actually be flying somewhere. As we start to head towards spring weather, more trips will be planned, so don't forget to subscribe and drop a comment if you enjoyed this video. That's all for me today, people. I'll catch you on the next one. Run Wonders off, signing out.